So there is a lot of lies and misunderstandings about the gospel, the campaign of heaven and earth, our existence, this mortality, and our spirituality and consciousness, what it all means. We need to establish some grounds of our cognitive truths. Moses is where we get the first 5 books of the Old Testament. In Greek, it's called Pentateuch. It's Greek because it was translated from Greek. But Moses, was he a Levite? Somewhere in the children of Hebrew. And it's just, and that's Israel, Jacob, the 12 tribes of Jacob. It's not just Judah. I know we are really, really confused about our current state of politics that makes everybody believe that the Jews make up all of Israel. That's Zionism, and it's false. But Moses, as the story goes, was going to be killed as a baby. And so the mother put baby Moses in a basket and put it down the river towards the Pharaoh, and he was adopted in the house of Pharaoh as a baby. Okay, so being in the house of Pharaoh, which is Egyptians, we know it's well documented that their language was written, is called hieroglyphics, not Hebrew. Okay? So the Pentateuch is Greek, and then Moses was brought up Egyptian, not to speak Hebrew. We know he didn't speak Hebrew because in the scriptures, and we don't know if it's true or not, because this is the whole problem with the Old Testament. And we know this from current state of Judah, what is called Israel, that they are liars. I'm sorry, but it's true. They make up things. There's no empirical evidence. They lie. Even Isaiah, in the book of Isaiah, and I think Jeremiah, and then when Judah was in charge of Joseph, the brothers sold their brother Joseph, for 30 pieces of silver. Remember? If the story is true, Judah, Israel, is the story true? If the story is true, then you're not really reliable. Hello? And if you say it's not true, well, then that throws everything off, right? Because your whole inheritance is all messed up, right? It's a catch-22. But Aaron, the brother of Moses, was required to mediate, to speak to the people of Hebrew, and see, the whole debate between Pharaoh and Moses wouldn't have happened if Moses didn't speak Egyptian. Think about that. The conference that Pharaoh and Moses had, they had to have the same language. He was brought up in his house, so of course he had his language. But that also means that the law of Moses was written in the language that Moses knew, which was Egyptian, which was hieroglyphics. So the Bible is translated from a language that Moses didn't have. We know that Babylon came down around 500 BC and just took over everything of the land, the inheritance of all that land. And then after that it was Greece, and then Rome, and then you had the Crusades that happened. So, and it was 325 AD when Emperor Constantine did the Council of Nicaea and made the Bible into the language of Latin. So it was changed again. Every time there's a translation, it's not going to be perfect. It's not. And you know that when if you try to read the scriptures, it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of imperfections in it. But the key, we have the key because Jesus Christ gave us the key. The key is love. The key is forgiveness. The key is truth. Okay? The father of lies, who was the last teacher that Jesus Christ had during the fast, the fast of Jesus Christ in the desert, is the father of lies. And Jesus Christ said, it is not the will of God to force people to worship him. So all this death and destruction and military and barbarism and savagery and killing in the name of Christ or the name of God, it's not. Because that's not God of heaven. That is the God of this earth, which is the devil, who was ejected from heaven as Lucifer, the devil. He is the God that resides of this earth. He is the God of money and the God of power, the God of lies. And it is that God that translated and confused a lot of the Bible on purpose to make it a weapon to oppress people for political gains. So, and the important thing here in understanding what the true campaign of heaven is, which is our free agency, our free will, that is what everything lied upon. Everything was founded upon our own free agency. Not happiness, not just life to live. It's a consciousness of our own character, our own behavior, our own rights to choose, not to be coerced or forced or killed because we believe not like everybody else believes, or has the same bloodline, which I don't believe is true in the Bible. So in revelations that I've had, it's not relevant. What's relevant is our character, our behavior to forgive and share and love. That's what matters.